Trying to find affordable rehab, that it just plagues families all across this land and even around the world. And it's, look, $30,000 to a whole lot of people is very affordable. They can stroke that check. I've seen it. To others, $3,000 just as well be $1 million. And how do you know what you're getting for what you're paying? I see it all over social media. Families say, well, who the hell can afford that? No one can afford that. Not understanding there's free treatment in every state all around this country. And so what do? There is care out here. I mean, really, when you talk about you can't afford it, can you afford not to? Can you afford to continue to pay the phone bill, the light bill, the rent, the groceries, the child care, the lawyers? I don't think you can afford not to put your loved one in treatment. But just because programs are super expensive all around this country doesn't mean that they're effective. And just because you find a program that's highly affordable doesn't mean that it's garbage. So we're going to get into that today, finding affordable treatment, what it is, what it isn't. And my guest today is Adam Landry. He's a program director at Discovery Place just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And they're actually the sponsor of this week's episode of The Unbroken with Sam Davis. And I'm your host, as always, Sam Davis, and it's good to be here. Adam drove all the way up from Burns, Tennessee. Just outside of Dixon, Tennessee.
Lovely
Those of you that may
Burns.
may know where Dixon is. It's west of Nashville, out in the sticks. And I'm just glad you're here, man. Thanks for coming.
I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, man, I have heard of Discovery Place for a long time, and it is held in high regard in this field of behavioral health all over the country. You got guys that are going through your program, that are going off and running other treatment programs, starting their own programs. Yeah, working in treatment.
If you take a dart and throw it at a treatment center in Middle Tennessee, I guarantee you there's a Discovery Place alumni somewhere in there.
And it's really an effective, highly respected place, and I'm glad you're here. And it's men only.
Correct. Yep. It's a men-only 12-step immersion treatment program in Burns, Tennessee. It was founded in 1997, and we've been going strong ever since. Yeah. Saved my life, absolutely, without a doubt.
Yeah, a lot of your alumni are coming back and working.
Yeah, that's part
Place,
of the deal. That is actually part of the magic sauce that makes Discovery Place work, is that it's staffed by alumni. Everyone that walks up that long stairway to the main building is greeted by someone that's been exactly there, that's made that walk themselves, and it's highly effective. It's highly effective.
So you went through Discovery Place. How long ago?
2021.
Had you been to treatment?
Yes.
Before then?
Yeah.
What was your journey like? Let's go with a little bit of your journey so people will know that you qualify to sit in that chair.
Man, my journey, my brother calls me the unicorn because the first time I got sober was in 1996. And I got sober in 12-step recovery, and I had no treatment experience, and I stayed sober for 13 years. And like the classic story you hear all the time, things got so good that I had to roll the dice, and so I had a pretty major relapse. And
that was a true relapse. I mean, you had emotional sobriety.
Yes. Yeah, I got married sober. I was 10 years sober when I got married.
Because a lot of people say, I keep relapsing. Yeah. They're straight out of detox, and they're never been emotionally sober to relapse back into. Yeah. So I like the use of the word correctly, and it sounds like that's absolutely a true relapse, 13 years. And
for sure. It was, and it's funny, too, because I tell this story a lot, but when I did relapse, it wasn't the overwhelming flood of guilt and shame and remorse that you would expect after so long sober. It was like, where have you been all my life? And it was a big wake-up call for me to realize how, deeply alcoholic and addicted I was, even sober, like that it didn't, the malady didn't go away. It was just lying there waiting.
Right.
Yeah.
And did you burn it down pretty quickly?
It took about 18 months. Yeah, it took about 18 months. Started off with, your casual drinking, and I can frankly and honestly say that for about 10 months, I managed and controlled, with air quotes, my drinking. It was just alcohol, a little bit of weed here and there, but it was sociable. And I think an important thing to point out too was, I would say for the last 3+ years of that 13-year stint, I was a dry drunk, completely miserable, workaholic, disengaged from life. And that doesn't make for a good husband. And my wife had never seen me drink. So she knows that I'm a guy that doesn't drink, but she has no personal history with alcoholism in her family. And she has no personal history with me. So all she sees is this miserable SOB who's never satisfied, never happy. And so when I drank, that changed. And so for her, and I use this term very literally, for her ignorance, it was bliss. Because now all of a sudden I'm wanting to go out. I'm wanting to go to movies and parties and dinner, and I'm engaged, I'm in life again. And so that was quite a gaslight mixed message,
Right.
I mean, my internal motive is if I do these things, I get to drink.
Right.
But for her, what she saw was a closed off, angry dude instantly changed into a sociable, pretty decent husband.
Like putting gas in an engine.
That's right.
You get cranked up.
Absolutely. I had the power, Sam. All of a sudden the power came.
Yeah,
and
lack of power wasn't your dilemma.
No, not anymore,
at that
man.
time,
I got some power.
it?
It's called bourbon.
But that doesn't last, man.
No, it didn't. And like I
the
said,
ribbon had to come off of that quite quickly. Well, at some point.
It came off the wheels about 10 months in when we were out at a pool hall, all of us, the wives and the men, and we're all hanging out, and somebody had a little of that Colombian Go powder.
Oh,
yeah, and I hadn't touched that stuff in so long, and even when I did, I was in college, so I didn't have the money, and now I'm a successful businessman, and I'm in my early 30s, and I got money, and so I do this in the bathroom of the pool hall, and I light up like a Christmas tree.
Oh, hell yeah.
And the first thought I thought of was, man, I can really do this now. Like, they'll make more. Like the Doritos slogan, they'll make more. And that guy's right out there. And I can go get more. It was a revolutionary idea.
I can afford this.
I can do this. And it was like, cracking a hole in the Hoover Dam, man. It was just lights out.
What'd you end up doing? Smoking crack?
Oh yeah, brother.
Right.
I think I did powder cocaine for every day. My solution to the horrible come down of cocaine, all the lack of dopamine, serotonin, all that. My solution was never run out.
Right.
And then of course, once you go crack, you never go back.
That's right. And I know from personal experiences that you can't hang on to that too well.
No.
I mean,
No.
she saw a totally different version of you when the crack cocaine came into the mix.
Yeah,
right?
It was terrifying. I thankfully through recovery and through principles being practiced in my daily life today, I've been able to make amends to that wonderful woman. We're no longer married. The marriage could not possibly survive the wrath of my addiction. But yeah, it was. I can't imagine. I still am never going to be able to imagine the effect that my active disease has on other people, because that's their perspective. The best I can do is try to be compassionate, but I'll tell you what, it took 10 months of controlled drinking, but the seal was broken. 8 months of cocaine use, I would say about 5 of which was daily crack cocaine use, but to tear down 13 years of progress. And when I mean progress, I don't mean emotional progress or spiritual progress. I mean physical progress. House, marriage, business, vehicles.
So you had 13 years, but there was some stuff down in there that hadn't been unwound, evidently, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna just say to the best of my understanding, and it's always just a perspective thing, that relapse was a result of ceasing doing the daily work of recovery.
Let the life that the program gives you get in the way of your program.
That's right. Life got so good that ego creeped in.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the day not the day it specifically, but I remember the moment it happened where I said to myself one day, I'm not going to pray today. And I remember thinking to myself, like being real convinced of it, like, you know what? Like, I don't need God. I don't need any of this stuff. Like, I'm look at how well I've done. I'm doing this, and I kind of want to do this right now, And it took 2-3 years of, downslide before the actual physical relapse happened.
Right.
Yeah.
So you said you went to a bunch of treatment when I asked you earlier.
So at that point, because of my music career, I was in music. I got a Music Cares grant or scholarship. They're a wonderful organization, and they sent me to a really great, a fantastic, full-on medical facility. I think at the time, it was $30,000 for 30 days.
Could you? I mean, so you didn't have to pay for that.
No, I didn't have it.
Music Cares
I
stepped
spent
in because they help
the money.
musicians that are struggling.
Correct. It's an organization, and I don't want to give misinformation, so I'll say what I know for sure. It's an organization that is underwritten by NARIS, which is the Grammy Association, and they help people in the music industry with medical bills, including drug and alcohol treatment. Yeah.
So you had a free ride.
I had one free ride.
And you couldn't have afforded it had you not.
Not possible. Now, this is all hypothetical. There is decent chance that family members would have helped, right? But I don't know that for certain.
Right.
This was an urgent matter. I needed to get into treatment real bad. And so people jumped in, straight up intervention. You're going today. As a matter of fact, I was bribed. It's a real funny story, which would take up too much time. But my wife called my brother and said, "Can you come over to the house? Adam's naked in the backyard running around, and I can't catch him." And
couldn't catch you.
Couldn't catch me, man.
Like you were a puppy.
Poof. Moving and shaking.
Moving and shaking.
That's right.
Naked as a jaybird.
Well, I think I had boxers on, but yeah, basically naked. Yeah. And my brother's taller than me, and I can't tangle with him. So he came over and he bribed me with a Budweiser, a bottle of Budweiser, a Valium, and a carton of cigarettes. Buddy, this wonderful prize is all yours if you just get in the car. We're going to treatment. And so I couldn't argue with that.
No, yeah, who can argue with that?
No, I mean that's a.
But did you have to go
drunker's dream.
Yeah, did you have to go to treatment again after that, or was that?
Yes, that didn't stick, and it's not anything that they did. Seriously, I wasn't ready.
Sure, and that's a big piece of it. They say, and we get this a lot. They went to treatment. Oh, he's been to treatment. And he comes right out. It didn't work. It didn't work.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't work.
Right.
I didn't.
That's
work.
what they're missing.
Because I fundamentally was not ready. But that experience, if we're going to look at it in black and white, that experience did work. And what worked about it was they let me go early because I was a pain in the ass. I was just incessant, just eat. And they're like, well, why don't you just leave? Cool. Sounds good to me.
Right.
And so that phone call gets made to then wife. I'm not coming to pick you up. And then so the phone call gets made to mom. Well, I'm not coming to pick you up. And eventually, staff at this facility said, someone's got to come pick him up because
He's got to go.
You can't walk down the road, you know. And so I'm standing in the parking lot with the proverbial black trash bag full of my belongings. And in pulls mom in one car and wife in the other car. And they proceed right in front of me. It was like this classic, I'm right here, I can see you guys, you know, arguing with each other. I'm not taking him. Well, I'm not taking him. Well, I remember distinctly my mom saying to my then wife, well, honey, he's your problem now. You know, and the demoralization of the two absolute, hands down, most important women in my life, completely unwilling to even accept me in their vehicle because of the potential disaster that is entering their life, the nuclear bomb that is about to get in their life again. That helped get me on my way. You know, seeing that. Just absolutely devastating.
How'd you find Discovery Place?
And
what did that journey look like?
So, I left that facility with a card for Discovery Place. And, I'm going to be completely honest.
Please.
Discovery Place was presented as an idea to me as I was walking out the door as this is going to be more your speed. It's all men's. It's out in Burns. It's 12-step immersion. This is going to be much more your speed. Because remember, I had a head full of recovery. So I was extra argumentative because I thought I knew everything.
That's a miserable experience.
Oh, man. I thought I knew everything.
To have a head full of 12-step and then a belly full of dope and alcohol.
Belly full of booze and alcohol.
That's a miserable experience.
Yeah, it's like conflict incarnate. And so they were very, very compassionate and wise to recommend Discovery Place, but I took it as an insult. At the time, Discovery Place was $6,500 for 30 days. Cash pay only, no insurance.
Now, they don't detox out there, do they?
We do not. We do not have a medical detox. We have fantastic partnerships with ethical third-party detox facilities that if someone is coming off of specifically alcohol, benzodiazepines, anything that's dangerous, we insist. We actually
you can't. You won't take them if they're
No. We're not doing that. Playing that game. We would prefer. There are certain things where if like someone comes in undetoxed and they last did cocaine like that day or the day before or something. That was me.
Right.
I mean, that was me, and you're going to be miserable mentally, but there's no medical necessity for a detox, provided that's all it is.
Right.
But a lot of times, you can't trust an alcoholic or an addict.
Yeah.
So we would prefer them detoxed, period.
Right. I always tell them in interventions, like, look, man, don't try to be a cowboy. Don't try to downplay this thing. Like, what are you really taking? And we'll need you flopping around on the floor.
No.
We try to be a hero here.
We just don't want them, we want them bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, so to speak. We want them sober and ready to go because they're going to get right into it.
So sorry to interrupt, but $6,500 for 30 days is, again, I understand to a lot of people.
It's a little bit more now, but at the time that I came that time, it was about 65, and I took that as an insult.
Right.
The great, big, powerful, wonderful me who couldn't afford the treatment he just got booted out of. And now it's this place is not good enough for me. The perspective is just wonky. But that was the deal was I bounced around a couple more little, sober living facilities, IOPs, stuff like that. It took me about 2 or 3 months. And then finally, the family and the wife got real sick and tired of it. And they basically said, look, I remember the day like it was yesterday. They said, look, you can go to Discovery Place. We've got a bed for you. You have until 5 p.m. to get your butt here, and we'll go out to Discovery Place, or you can live in your truck. Like, this is the option, It was almost like Make this choice, this one choice, or we're done. We're all done. And that unified front was really the catalyst.
They delivered clarity to you at scale.
Yep, it wasn't a threat. It was a clear boundary. It was, you do you. This decision is yours. We're not going to make it for you. We're not going to chase you. We're not going to run you down. You decide. Live in your truck and continue the way you're living, or take the bed that we are offering you. And that clarity helped.
Yeah.
You know, it really, really did, because there's care in that, which I could even recognize at that point.
Right.
I could see that they're offering me safe harbor. Despite all that I've done to them, they're actually offering me something safe and healthy.
And they're willing to financially support that.
Correct.
They're willing to invest
Correct.
in this for you.
Yeah, and more to come, which they didn't tell me then. But like, yeah, I ended up staying longer than the standard 30 days.
So a lot of people, I mean, even to a lot of the population, I mean, what you said was 6,500. Then what's it cost to go to Discovery Play?
$8,000.
It's 8,000 now for a month.
30 days. Yep.
For 30
and
days.
then so we have a maximum of a 6-month program. We offer a la carte, and full disclosure, we're always going to recommend more treatment.
No, the longer you can keep someone under managed care, the more likely of their success.
I don't want to bog us down in all the math and the numbers, but the facts are plain and simple. More treatment means more sobriety, more steady sobriety, more realistic long-term recovery. And so, the price begins to decrease as the months go on. And there are 3 distinct phases that we've designed, as a team to be appropriate for the time that you're in. And it's all focused around community, right? It's all focused on one addict alcoholic helping another, getting out of self, getting out of that poor, pitiful me, finding some purpose. I mean, it fired me up when I could finally think clearly and start to at least disseminate my emotion. I'm by no means an emotional genius, but if asked, I can identify what I feel today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not ashamed to say that. That's not a thing that us men, and we're a men's facility, that's not a thing that us men are very trained in.
Right.
But it's important. If I want to be, we take recovery, and we just kind of set it over here for a second. If I want to be successful in life, I might need to maybe have an idea, a faint idea of what I'm going through on a daily basis. And I can do that sober. I was given a safe place amongst men to, be a real man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Now, the whole what we're talking about in this episode is finding affordable treatment, and from the family's perspectives of what they're seeing out here, actually what they're doing out here too, because I hear it a lot. Who can afford that?
Yeah.
So, which I always want to look back at them and be like, are you looking? Or is that just you're out? Because I'll get that in comments on social media. We'll get that, of who can afford that? Well, who's going to pay for that? Because the programs that we have on that the media company gives exposure to and allows to be on the podcast and in the family support meetings, they're all privately owned. Mm-hmm. They were built with the owner's blood, sweat, and tears, and they offer a lot of services, but they're not cheap.
No,
they're not cheap. Some detox, some do not. And families are looking like, well, who the hell's paying for that? Who can afford that? Well, we understand a lot of people can, but they're out here. There are programs out here. There are free programs. Mm-hmm. We've got one right down the road here in Richmond. Long-term, year plus. It is bare bones. They will put you out in a second because there's somebody waiting to get in because it's totally free. There are 12-step completion. Mm-hmm. Some of the challenges with programs, while every state has them, free programs, totally free. They're hard to get into.
Yeah.
That window of willingness when someone waves a white flag and says, hey, I'm ready to go, you got to move real quick. Really quick, right? And so getting into a free program is often hard to get into.
Absolutely. And I would feel remiss if not mentioning this. So Discovery Place operates as we're a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
People hear nonprofit, they think free. They think of charity. We are not that. It costs money. However, our board, who's been faithfully, guiding us for years now, and one of our founders is on the board, specifically believe, because of the data, that you got to have some skin in the game.
Absolutely.
Knowing that someone shelled out for me, someone did, right? I didn't. Didn't come out of my pocket.
Right.
But someone did. Matters.
Yeah, it does.
And that seems like, for someone that can't afford treatment, that seems like, or at least it feels like it to me, even when I say it, that feels like not a good enough reason. Let me please reassure you, it is everything. It is everything to know that someone cares, to know that someone put their hard-earned hope and faith and trust in the form of money into my recovery at day one. It matters. Free treatment, as wonderful as an opportunity as it is, has a much lower success rate. Not to, like you just said, like we have free programs in Tennessee and Nashville that we've occasionally had to send guys to because there was no other option. And if you were to call the Discovery Place admissions line and we couldn't work out something, we're gonna find you an answer. We're not just sorry, can't help you, But the fact is that those success rates are low, not because they're offering poor recovery. The message is the same across the board in any place.
Yeah, I mean, I see this. I've experienced this with. I had a sober living here in Richmond, and everyone that we fully scholarship, they were always the worst. Mm-hmm. They caused the most trouble, had the least gratitude, and it never ended well. And every single treatment, I know of a couple of full scholarship individuals that have taken it and done well.
Yeah.
Their ass was totally 100% engulfed in flames, and everything was burning down around them, and they had the desperation. Like, they had true desperation of wanting to get well.
Yeah,
because they did well. But the
life.
Vast majority that are maybe or scholarshiped into a private program, nightmares.
Yeah,
nightmares.
Yeah. And it's interesting too because you're going to find, and I'm sure there's some families out there watching right now that can relate to this. Their loved one needs recovery, sobriety, treatment. They definitely need it. They have the support of you, and they don't want it. And it's the most baffling thing ever.
Yeah.
And I think if I can just shed the tiniest bit of light from the addict perspective, something happens up here, man, where I think we were just, Kevin and I were just listening to a podcast the other day, or just yesterday, that was talking about this very thing, where it's like, the problem's in here, okay? The problem exists in here, and I need help in here. I need help up here, right? But I'm looking all around out here. Man, if I had $10,000 and she would just come back, I mean, I did her wrong. She needs to come back. And that job, if I can just get a good pair of shoes and a nice suit and get that job back, like, everything is fine. If you had my life, you'd drink the way I did too, And that is so wrong. It is objectively wrong. And from the family's perspective, they're just like, they see it, we don't.
Man, I prayed for exactly what I have in my life right now.
Yeah.
17 years or 16 years ago. Went through that, I'd gotten out of treatment. I was living in Texas. I was making $9 an hour. And I prayed for everything that I've got in my life right now. Successful business, family intact, right? Some toys, right? Some freedom, the busyness, right? Having, being in demand for our services. And I was never as happy as I was living in sober living, making $9 an hour with nothing.
Absolutely. Amen.
I was in tune with the world around me, and I was so grateful.
Yeah. Laughing.
So grateful.
Just
yes.
like I remember just 4 or 5, 6 days into this journey. I'm sitting in we have a place, a room at Discovery Place called the Comfy Couch Room. It's just, it's exactly what you think it is. Just a bunch of couches where, life-changing discussions happen, like life-changing emotional, spiritual upheavals happen, but it's just a bunch of couches where, guys sit around and talk. And I remember sitting on one of those couches about 6 days sober, thinking to myself, like, my life is over, I'm cooked. I'm done, look at my life. And somebody said something funny, and I kind of looked up at him and was like, that little bit of a laugh. And then he says something even funnier. And before I know it, I'm dying laughing, wondering, just forgot all about all that crap.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, you can be happy right here, right now. But I'm looking out there. I'll be happy then.
The whole world falls into that.
Absolutely.
Normal people,
Yeah.
normal. I mean, everybody's got
Yeah.
some distractions.
100%.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
So I want to get back to Discovery Place, right? I mean, talking about looking for affordable treatment. Now, families out here searching Google. And they're looking at programs. Well, first page of programs, you're going to get all the programs that have the marketing budget to drop $1 million or $250,000 a month on SEO to get them,
we don't
make
even
them
do
at the top. Yeah,
we don't do it.
My buddy Jason, he's like, man, you got to go 4 or 5 pages to find us, But they're looking at let's say a family's looking at a program that say $40,000 for 30 days. Just pulling numbers. It's
Sure.
they're out here
that's
like
very
that.
real.
Yeah.
I know 60s.
Yeah. I know. I can name several that are $70K for a month, right? $80K for a month. You're not going to be everything to everybody. There's things that you guys cannot provide for what you're costing. $8,000 a month.
And intentionally.
So let's say to fully do your program, what's the time frame? 6 months?
If you did the maximum of what we offer, it's 6 months maximum. That includes 1 month of main campus, is what we call it, and everybody does main campus. That's the rite of passage.
Right.
It's the foundational program. And then from there, we offer up to 2 months of LTR. And then from LTR, we offer up to 3 months.
You mean long-term
recovery.
Long-term recovery.
Yep.
All right.
Long-term recovery.
Is that on the same campus, though?
No, we have a different property. It's beautiful. The main campus property is 17 acres in the middle of the country. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's got a couple ponds, got fire pits out in the country. It's very peaceful.
Great food. I mean, it's everything you want. It's all the amenities minus the amenities you don't need, right? And with very intentional purpose there. Like I don't need to be distracted with TVs. If there's a major sporting event on, once a week or something, there's a projector upstairs and the guys gather around and watch it and there's camaraderie and stuff. But we're not sitting in our rooms watching TV. No cell phones, Cell phones are literally, they're every vice that you want right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we actually, part of our program is the reintegration of that cell phone, and we don't do it until 90 days.
Yeah.
So try that one on.
Yeah. So you're you know, y'all are at, so what's the price point? If you say 6 months is maximum
If
care,
you did
what's
the maximum,
it going to cost them?
It would cost you $25,000.
$25,000
I think it's
for 6 months of care.
24,500 or 23 plus. Yeah, I want to say 24,500 or $25,000. Yeah.
All right. So that's for 6 months of care.
6 months of care. Yep.
When you put that into perspective, and even there's going to be people that say, that's still, no one can afford that. A lot of people are in delusion that think that everything should be free, that all treatment should be free.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, and another thing I think that people get scared about, Sam, is that we don't accept insurance. So when you think about, like, I think people get really freaked out because they're like, I got to cut a check for $25,000. I want my son, let's say it's your son, I want my son to go there for 6 months. I can't cut a check for $25,000. That's not how it works. For very specific program reasons. I mean, let's again be honest. If you cut a check for $25,000, Discovery Place will deposit it. Mm-hmm. You know, like that's going to happen. But
yeah,
that's
you guys
very
aren't going to
rare.
be like, oh no,
we don't want.
But I'm sorry, we can't accept that.
But
That's
the
not
fact
gonna
is
happen.
that's very rare.
Yeah.
Extremely rare. Usually what happens is we go month by month because that's where the guys are at. We don't want it to be forced treatment.
Right.
Because we want these guys to have their own skin in the game. They can't afford to pay for it. Yeah, but we want them to understand the decision they're making in their life. We want them to be behind it. We want them to take a look at the options like we discussed earlier and say, you know, yeah, I know I need this.
So it's broken out over 6 months. And so the first month, if I may,
8,000.
Yeah, they're saying, all right, here's 8,000. We're investing 8,000 into you.
Mm-hmm.
If your behavior shows up through these 30 days that you are grateful
Mm-hmm.
that someone is investing in you and your life by putting your skin in the game by action, then we'll invest another month.
That's right.
But if you're so the whole time they're like, hey, I'm buying a month of this at a time, even though I can't cut the check because I'm a crackhead and I got nothing. I can't even rub two nickels together.
Right.
You know, I can show that I'm invested by my actions.
That's right.
Which would make the family a little more comfortable for putting that next month up.
Yeah.
And also knowing that, hey, if I drop the ball, if I become unwilling, that the next month looks like open space.
Yeah, and it's interesting because from the care side, from the staff side, from the recovered, I kind of hate using that term, but from the state of our perspective, we would love. I mean, how could we not love a situation in which a man comes to our place and says, "I'm ready. I want it all. Feed me. I'm ready for this," right? Super rare.
It is rare.
Very
the
rare.
Families have a lot to do with
That's right.
creating that desperation.
That's right.
And that
never
willingness.
give up.
Yeah.
You know, we have a slogan: if there's air in their lungs, there's hope.
Yeah.
Never give up on your loved one. And you know, and there's for another time, for another talk, we can talk all about that. And you have a ton of experience with that, Sam, talking to families about, you know, best practice and also taking care of yourself, setting boundaries and stuff. That's all incredibly important. But the fundamental principle here is that it is completely likely and normal that the sufferer is not going to be, you know, unicorns and rainbows about going to treatment.
Yeah. Who would? I mean, no one wants to go.
Yep.
But getting back to when families are looking at programs and they're seeing you for 8,
mm-hmm.
Now there's just some people you can't take that are right. I mean,
How
there's
so?
Well, I mean, are there certain diagnoses that y'all can't work with? I
Yeah,
mean,
good
what
question.
are you talking about? A schizophrenic comes in
schizoaffective disorder, if pre-diagnosed, and co-occurring with addiction. it's more than likely gonna be a hard pass because we can't provide that level of care.
Right. Well, so for that, you've got a treatment program, and I'm not trying to compare, but I'm just like families are looking, and it's constant. We get it. Like, how do we know this is 8,000? This is 35,000. This is 5,000. Well, this one over here is free, and we got the challenge over here is totally free, year long Christian. Like, there's things that y'all can provide, and there's things that you can't.
Correct.
For that price point, right?
Correct.
So you can't have a full medical staff at $8,000 a month. I couldn't imagine that, right?
No.
I mean,
I love this, and the fact is, Discovery Place was founded by two men who, having been in the industry when managed care and insurance took over and started basically deliberately saying, this is what drug and alcohol treatment has to be for us to pay for it versus what it can't be. We will pay for this. We won't pay for this. What that did was it created an environment in which cost goes up and level of care goes down.
Facts.
And this isn't a insurance good bad thing.
Right.
We're not talking about that. What we're talking about is what we can provide because we don't provide expensive clinical care is a ton more for less.
Right.
So,
and speaking on that, sorry to interrupt you,
no,
but
please,
speaking on
yeah.
that, is there any data out here that shows that a heavy clinical, insurance-driven, with clinicians on every corner and in every group, is there any data that shows that that is more effective than a program such as Discovery Place that does not provide heavy clinical but provides an experience, a recovery experience?
Short answer, no. There's no data to show that the service we provide is less effective. The data shows it's more effective.
Right.
The only little gray area would be define success. And to be very clear, we define success by physical abstinence from alcohol and drugs without a relapse.
Or
and we have data for different periods.
Right.
So
right.
A year, 2 years, 5 years. And the reason we are even able to have that data is because of our community engagement with alumni.
Yeah.
So for instance, I'll give you a great example. A guest, we call them guests, not patients, because we don't provide medical or clinical care. A guest becomes a guest of Discovery Place. A man becomes a guest of Discovery Place, and I'm his guide, let's say. I'm no longer a guide, but I was for a while. And so I'm working with him much like, I mean, quite frankly, almost exactly like a counselor would. And at the end of his time, he's going back into his community, to his family. I give him my phone number. I say, call me when you get home. Let's once you come out and volunteer, do a group. None of that is possible in a clinical setting because I can't do that. I can't talk to him for a year.
Right.
In under HIPAA, confidentiality stuff. We're not collecting clinical data. We're not doing clinical things. So I don't want to say it's the honor system, but there's a code.
Right. And I'm just, I wanted to be clear on that because you see this. I'm not taking anything away from anyone that has enough letters behind their name that they need 2 business cards to put them all on.
I myself see a therapist.
Yeah. I believe in clinical care. I believe in intensive trauma work and good clinical. I mean, I do. I mean, it's very beneficial. Mm-hmm. But you see these, they get to hanging their hat on this evidence-based and evidence-based practices, best practice. The
thing that really,
with the clinicians that it's not producing any different results.
Yeah.
It's not producing any better results.
Yeah.
From what I've seen. Now, I don't have written data where I've checked this, checked. I'm just going by my experiences out here in the world of working in this field for, 16 years.
That's right. And so the best analogy that I have, and I love this analogy. It's ridiculous, but I love it. I'm sure my life was a dumpster fire. It was a full blown three alarm house fire when I got sober. What Discovery Place does is we put that fire out. It's going to take a little time, but we're going to address the fire. We're going to address addiction at its core, the spiritual malady, all of the things that are going on. We are not going to stand around while the fire burns and figure out why it started.
Right. The mule's in the ditch. We're going to sit around and worry about how the mule got in the ditch. How are we going to get the mule out? You get the mule out by action.
Let's get it out of the ditch. Yeah, I love that too. The mule's in the ditch. That's fantastic. I'm going to steal that one.
Yeah, I didn't make it up, man. I stole it. Picture of people sitting around looking at the mule in the ditch, talking about how'd the mule get in the ditch.
Let's
figure
out
man. Get
what
the mule
happened
out.
when you were a kid. And here's the thing. I do that stuff now because my fire's been out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But standing around doing forensics on why the fire started while it's still literally burning.
Right.
Let's address the primary situation right now. And that goes for higher acuity things too. We've had schizoaffective disorder because, and this is probably a whole nother talk, but the fact is that some guys, like take meth, for instance, meth covers that stuff up.
Yeah.
You come off meth, you're in psychosis, you're acting a little weird, start to level out, and oh my God, all those symptoms coming to the surface, right? And at that point, now you're sober and you can address the underlying mental health stuff. But, alcoholism, hardcore alcohol use will literally look like severe clinical depression, not getting out of bed, urinating on yourself. That take away the extreme depressant and see when the body starts to heal a little bit, and it does. Newsflash, it's not 30 days. It takes longer. But, you start to see this person come alive, and then we take a look at, okay, what's going on?
Yeah. So you guys provide an experience.
Absolutely.
If we cut it all down, you provide an experience, a recovery experience. Yes. And what I mean by that is I get families all the time. My son, my daughter, my husband, my wife, been to treatment 7, 8 times. And then we investigate, all right, what type of model did they go to? It was heavy clinical. And again, I'm not knocking, it's got its value. It can be very beneficial. But they sit in the groups. They get a lot of information. But they don't get any experience. Mm-hmm. They can't provide the experience. Yeah. They can tell you what recovery will look like once you get out and do A, B, C, and D and follow up with this, that, and the other. Programs like Discovery Place, you all provide an actual experience in recovery while they're in that safe environment.
Yeah, they're helping, they're helping each other just as much, if not more, than we're helping them. Mm-hmm. We are providing the opportunity, the environment, the structure, and definite personal experience, all of those things. But they are encouraged. So I remember an experience I had at one of the clinical places in which they didn't want us fraternizing. I'm not talking men and women, men and men. They didn't want us talking with each other about recovery.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, they were very specific about it. It's like you go to your staff things and then, they didn't want us contaminating each other, right? And it's like, that dude that's a day ahead of me, he's the only one I'm listening to right now. Mm-hmm. I can't fathom your 10 years of sobriety, your 20 years of sobriety. That means nothing to me. That's a pipe
Doesn't
dream.
even seem real.
Yeah.
You must be lying.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, I show up to work and a lot of times I got my shirt tucked in and my belt and I'm looking like a business person, and this guy that's 3 days sober is looking at me like I'm the police. Mm-hmm. And I get that.
Yeah.
However, his roommate or his housemate that is, a few days ahead, knows the lay of the land, he's listening to him. And it's encouraged. And that's part of the experience, and then our guys that are in phase 2 are coming over and showing the guys what the next 30 days looks like, and so on and so forth. Very, very, very important.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is, Sam, I know you can relate to this, but we can BS with the best of them when we're in that, and so I can make a clinical therapist. I can run circles around.
Oh, run circles around them.
Oh, yeah, because part of their care is non-judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
And
a lot of them don't want to upset the apple cart. Again, I'm not taking anything away from good clinicians, but they're, you can't swing a dead cat out here without hitting a social worker or a clinician.
For sure. And it's one of those things where, because I can't BS you. Right, it's not going to happen. I can say, well, my mom, and come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my wife did that. Come on,
Whereas we get to tell them the truth. Through lived experience of our own.
Oh yeah, I had one clinician convinced that this was all my dad's fault.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me alcoholism,
and you get to walk out of there being a victim.
100%.
And a Discovery place and places like that. Like even the free place down the street here. It's about 100% ownership. 100% ownership. Mm-hmm. And then the Jaws is 100% ownership.
And we're not judgmental. You know what I mean? Like, the opposite of non-judgmental is not judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
We just simply don't put a lot of stock in worrying about. I always say to the guys, listen, I care more about you than I do about what you think about me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you think I'm a this, that, or the other because I told you the truth, that's okay by me. I can sleep at night.
It is what it is.
However, I cannot sleep at night if I shine you on and give you the impression that that none of this is your responsibility. It's not your fault. But I'm willing to walk with you. And that's the thing that I think lacks in other forms of treatment, and again, not knocking them. Simply from my personal experience, I didn't see a lot of I'm willing to do this with you.
Yeah.
I'm willing to go with you. If you're willing to come with, I'm willing to go with.
Right.
Right. You buy, I fly. Like there's a camaraderie there where.
Which there are people that need, as we're running out of time, and we're going to have to close up, but. Sure. As there's certainly need for heavy clinical. There's people that's what they need,
mm-hmm.
and certainly not the only thing they need, but they need it. Where I see y'all are very beneficial, and I've had experiences with people that I have worked with that have ended up at your place,
mm-hmm.
is they have had all of that, over and over again. But what they sorely lacked was an experience. So I think that families listening to this, they need to ask themselves about their addicted loved one and their journey. Is when you're looking at other programs and when you're looking at sending them somewhere, have they really had an experience in recovery, an immersion into
something they can
recovery?
Feel and grasp?
Yeah. Or have they just been sitting in groups? So for your loved ones out here, for the guys that have been to treatment over and over but are just lacking experience. And again, I understand there's people that can't afford $8,000. I get that.
Yeah.
But try to live out here on $8,000 a month.
And
ironically,
it's
for $25,000 for 6 months of care, you're talking about you're supporting yourself on 6 months. Well, that'd be a $50,000 a year income. There ain't a whole lot left over out here on the street trying to live, or in the free world trying to live $50,000.
Yeah.
So $25,000 for 6 months, in my book, and looking at the world around me, is hell of affordable.
Yeah, and it doesn't spend the same.
Right.
And that's a weird loaded statement, but the truth is that by let's say they make it to. It's $8,000 for the first month, and then $6,500 for the next 2 additional months. So that's 13. That's $21,000 at 90 days. the next 3 months are $1,000 a month.
Right.
So if you make it, financially, if you somehow are making it to month 4, it's downhill.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I would have to do some research to see, but I would say that a whole bunch of the month 4, 5, and 6 guys are paying their own way by that point.
As they should be.
Absolutely.
As they should be.
And that's the thing. So it's like, yeah, you think about 25,000 up front. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Adam, thank you for coming in here
Sam,
tonight.
thank you so much. Thank you for what you do.
How do they get in touch with you?
So we're online at discoveryplaceonline.org. Search. I actually found out that we come up real high in ChatGPT, which with no effort. That's pretty cool. We'll take it. Yeah, but just give us a call. Look for us online, discoveryplaceonline.org, and call us, and we'd love to talk to you. Yeah. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, buddy. That's it for us, guys. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Again, this episode was brought to you by Discovery Place out in Burns, Tennessee. Men only. Can go up to 6 months. I've been out there. I've had some guys go out there. Great experiences. They've been well known in this field for a long time and highly respected, so check them out. I'm not going to say they're a fit for everyone. They won't even tell you they're a fit for everyone, but they're definitely worth checking out. Mm-hmm. That's it for us here on the Unbroken. We're going to see you next time. That's it.